what people don't understand, and we talked about it a little bit here today. You asked me about going out and helping guys and this and that. If you guys knew how much shit happens every day,
Right.
that's the stuff you see. That's the stuff that's public that happens.
Right.
There's stuff that's not public that happens every day that I get phone calls and have to, these guys are human beings and life isn't perfect. Everything.
And I agree with that. But there's never been a code of conduct where this is allowed, this isn't allowed in the UFC. Where NFL, Major League Baseball has that. So Ronda puts a stupid tweet out about that Sandy Hook thing,
Right.
and there's never been
But even the Sandy Hook thing, I talked about this yesterday in Montreal. It doesn't matter what a code of conduct is. People are going to have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
People are, if you look at Joe Rogan, our announcer, he's the biggest marijuana advocate in the
Right.
world. I don't like drugs at all, even marijuana. You know what I mean? It's different people are
Right.
going to have different opinions. And Rhonda didn't go out and say that the Sandy Hook thing is a hoax and this and that. She tweeted a video that had 20 million views. 20 million other people watched that
Right.
video too. That's
and
all
she said
did.
it was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I mean that's,
Maybe she's a conspiracy theorist. Maybe she thinks guys didn't walk on the moon either.
Right.
And she doesn't think, there's people out there that are like that. All you have to do is watch the video and see the guy who made the video.
right.
The guy is a goof. You
Yeah,
know
of
what I mean?
course.
The thing is goofy. But some people believe in that shit.
Right.
Some people believe in God and some people, I don't. And I've been public that I don't.
Right.
Everybody is going to have their own opinions. If I got crucified and beat down because I don't think there's a God, I mean, come on, man. This is America. Everybody's going to have their own opinions.
And I'm not trying to, stop somebody's opinion, and maybe that was a bad example, but I'm saying, what is and isn't acceptable conduct? What is it that, you're going to say, from this point forward, now that we have this, is acceptable?
There is, and you can talk to Lawrence, there's a whole code of conduct. He can walk you through it. But the thing is, there's always going to be, as we continue to evolve as a company and as a sport, and as social media continues to evolve,
Right.
where information just flies like this and
Right.
people can, if you look at other sports organizations where they have these hardcore codes of conduct, we do pretty good. I mean, our guys, if you look at how many, and I hate to attack other sports,
Right.
but how many arrests there are for DUIs in season in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Let's not even talk about off season. And the stuff that goes down and how many guys are arrested from the NFL every season.
Right.
It's insane. We really don't have those problems. I'm very lucky. For the minimal problems that I do have, Rampage comes up here and he's playing video games and he's tweaked.
Right.
These are the type of problems I have. I'll take those problems over the NFL's problems any day.
Agreed.
Were there other guys that you considered for that role that Hughes was in, or was the timing just right with him not knowing exactly
Hughes was
what
the
to
guy.
do?
We created that position for Hughes.
I mean, it makes sense because you said once he does finally decide to hang it up, you're going to have something for him.
Yeah.
Did he talk at all about not wanting to retire? Or, I mean, how close was he to staying there?
I've been fighting with that guy for almost 2 years. Yeah.
Is it
I've
just a matter
wanted
of
him to
not having
retire,
to
and he
fight for
doesn't
him?
want to retire. He didn't want to retire right up to his retirement. Yeah, he wanted another fight. He was asking me for another fight.
So if you would have given him another fight, he would have taken it.
In a second.
Yeah.
If I offered him a fight right now, he'd take it. Yeah.
Dana, you just
social media is evolving, and you're very active on that platform, on multiple platforms. Why is that medium so important to you?
It's the future. Like I said, I like being able to talk directly to the fans, and it's where information just moves like this. It's amazing. I love Twitter, man. Love it.
Dana, you said that this position was something you had in mind for Hughes. It was for him, and obviously he's a pioneer. Are there other fighters who are, and you don't have to mention any by name, but are there
Yes.
other fighters that you have positions
Yep.
waiting for them? Mm-hmm. You want to name any?
No.
Okay.
No.
Rich Franklin.
There will be more. I've always said, and if you ask Hughes, there's a story with me and Hughes. We were in Miami one time remember the Sean Shirk fight when he fought Sean Shirk?
Yeah.
We were in Miami, and this was before, and we're talking about a day and age when Bodog was throwing all kinds of money around, and there was Pride, and there was all these other organizations, and there was a group of guys that I had relationships with, and I had this dream of what this sport and what this company was going to do. And basically, you know, whenever you build something like this, you're selling a dream to other people is what you're doing. And I say this, it sounds so bad, but Hughes and I were walking down the beach one night in Miami. We really were walking down the beach, and I was telling him, I'm like, this is the plan, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what this thing is going to turn into. And we talked. I walked him through everything, and he looked at me and he said, I'm in, man. I'm sold. I'm sold, and I'm with you. We either fucking make it or we don't.
Is he moving to Vegas?
And he literally, that's the way that guy has been since the day we had that conversation. He was invested in this company, and no matter what happened, there were good times, there were bad times, you know, there were ups and downs. Contract negotiations are always there. You always have people, you know, and if you look at how powerful the Militich camp was at that time, you know, then as it started to break apart and fall apart, different people were going different ways. You know, you had the Tim Sylvias of the world that, you know, the UFC is this, that, and the other thing, and then you had Hughes who stayed with us, and he stayed, you know, we had that conversation that night, and he's been you know, he's been part of this company ever since.
He's still moving to Vegas?
Big supporter. You got another big supporter that was with Shaquille O'Neal?
No.
No.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead. What'd you ask?
A couple years ago, I asked you about the role that Shaquille played for you in the future of UFC. Is he still involved?
No, I mean, Shaq has always been great to us since day one. He's awesome, but he's got a pretty good gig going on right now with basketball. So,
Definitely.
yeah. But I mean, he's one of those guys that if I had an idea, I could call Shaq as soon as this is over and say, Shaq, what do you think of this? You want to get involved in, you know, he's one of those kind of guys.
I remember you told us we passed in the beginning that he made a couple of commercials on his dime for you.
The first season of The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. Solid guy. One of the coolest guys ever.
Dan, when you talk about social media and this new VP position for Matt Hughes, we've seen in the past athletes, not necessarily UFC athletes, but in other sports, get in trouble by tweeting out things before they think about what they say. How does that play together with this new role?
You know, I still think that the tweeting thing, the philosophy is use common sense, you know. And the biggest one is shit that people think is funny. That's the worst one. Because everybody's sense of humor is different, and what some people find funny, others don't. And what some people find funny can be horribly offensive to other people. You know, again, different than the Rhonda thing that we're talking about. Things that people think funny are completely different stories, you know. And when a comedian says something, comedians can get away with anything. You're not comedians. I mean, that's the biggest problem with Twitter, with athletes, our athletes anyway.
What's one of the things you think are funny or not funny? Anti-Teo, any thoughts on that?
I've heard about it. I haven't followed it. Where did that end up? He knew about it, or he didn't know?
He was due.
He
extended it a little bit longer himself by,
Right.
you know, but he was due.
Question about Rampage.
It's weird, but whatever.
You are
I think that's the media. Media got a little burned on that one, and I think they kind of wanted to go after him. Is it weird? It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but you know.
Question about Rampage. You are following boxing. He thinks he can make the name in boxing. He made more than $50 million fighting as an MMA fighter. I cover boxing for 20 years. I don't think they can make fraction of
From
it.
2007 to 2012, Andy took a year off to film a movie. He made $15.2 million. I saw a statement he made today that skateboarders make more than him. I know a lot of skateboarders. I actually hang out in that skateboarding.
He also mentioned that he wants to make the money the fighters are making, and he used the example of Pacquiao and Mayweather, but he doesn't know what everybody else is making. The fighters are fighting for $100,000 on HBO.
You know how many boxers I know that want to come over here and fight?
I'm sure.
Believe me, it's true. Listen, this is one of those cases where everybody always thinks the grass is greener on the other side, and you get to the other side and you're like, shit, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I also saw he made a statement where boxers don't even have to train as hard as we do. That's just craziness, you know? If you believe that boxers don't train as hard as guys train, it's two completely different sports. It's two different sports, but each guy trains as hard. And to think that, you know, I got some of these guys who fight for me that think they can just walk into boxing and they're gonna be a world champion in boxing. Yeah, you are absolutely delusional. You know? I mean, Kimbo Slice was here for a while, you know, and we tried the Kimbo thing, and they were talking about bringing Kimbo into boxing. You haven't heard any, you know, he fought a couple of small fights. You haven't heard anything else about Kimbo boxing anymore. Boxing is a very tough business. And you think it's bad over here?
Yeah.
Wait till you get over there.
He said yesterday that the bridge is burned with you guys, not you and him, but the UFC and him. Is there any chance after Saturday that you guys would offer him?
Yeah, there is.
to
It's
stay?
just, you know, the thing is with Rampage is as Rampage makes these, you know, it's like if you're gonna go out and you know, you want to say all this stuff about the UFC, we know who we are, we know what we do, we know what you've been paid, we know, you know, okay, you made 15.2, but you wanted 100. You know, it's always going to be the case. But to come up here today and treat the media the way he did, it's professional suicide. I mean, you want to be sideways with me, but come out and I don't know. It's just
Over
you know,
11 fights he's averaged.
Rampage has the ability to be a huge star. We've seen it. You know, when he's on and his head's right and he's in the game, there's nobody more entertaining. There's no better press conference to be at. He lights up a press conference. He can do movies. The A-Team might not have done what everybody expected it to do, but let me tell you what, out of all the guys that have left the UFC and gone and acted, nobody's done as good a job as Rampage did. Rampage was awesome in that role. I liked the movie. It was a great movie. The guy has the potential to do anything. It's just, you know, when he gets in these moods, he shoots himself in the foot.
You said you paid him $15.2 million. That's over 11 fights, so it averages $1.38 million a fight. If you average it out over
Right.
that. How many fighters do you have that have averaged $1.38 million a fight in their career?
Good question. I don't know. But, you know, I've put out the list of how many guys have made millions of dollars. Plus, put on top of this, how about Rampage made that much money? He won the title. He defended it once. Won the title, defended it once, then lost it. It's not like he went on a George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva type run. So
He said,
done pretty damn
he
well.
told us yesterday maybe the straw that broke the camel's back with you guys was the A-Team movie situation. You didn't want him to do it. You wanted him to take that fight. in
We
Memphis.
rebounded from that.
Yeah.
I mean, we were cool after that. You know, I was pissed at the time.
I mean, to hear you say that you actually liked the movie and it was
It
cool.
was a
and
good
all that
movie,
stuff,
yeah.
I agree. It was pretty
It
good.
was a good movie. And out of all the guys who've ever tried to act in the UFC, Rampage is actually a guy that actually did it and was good at it.
You've had a lot of personal monetary success. How do you define other success for you personally? You've had monetary success. How do you define success personally?
I think that success is never gauged by monetary. It's never money. It's about how happy are you. You know, I've been doing this now for 15 years, meaning mixed martial arts, and I love it just as much as I did the first day. So to me, that's success. Success is being able to do something you love doing every day and loving it as much as you did the first day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cooling off with the surgery for linear surgery.
You know, you're never going to hear me sit here and say, oh, boo-hoo this and boo-hoo that. I have this thing. There is no cure. And I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. And, you know, everybody was bitching at me and telling me not to fly this week. You just had the surgery last Tuesday. You can't fly, this and that. This thing isn't going to dictate what I do. I'm going to dictate. It's like me and my ear are two different people now. My ear's fucking trying to make me do something that I don't want to do. Well, my ear's going to do what I fucking want to do, not what, you know what I mean? That's the way I'm looking at this thing. I'm in a personal fight every day with this fucking ear, and I'm going to win. That's the way I look at it.
And can you give us a quick comment on Josh Barnett? Has he signed with UFC yet? Is that in the works right now?
He has not, and we'll see what happens. I think we will. We'll see how it goes.
Clover's gotten a lot of attention as a guy, but you know, when you look at his record, he hasn't beaten anybody with remotely the kind of thing that Rampage has
It's the
done.
biggest fight of his career.
So, what do you think? You know, the fight means to him, and how big would a win over Rampage at this stage of Rampage's career be for him?
When you look at this situation and where Rampage is right now, and mentally, and all the things that's going on with him, you can tell There's absolutely no pressure or stress on Rampage whatsoever.
Right.
It's another fight for him. He honestly 100% believes he's going to leave here and go box and do whatever he's going to do. For Glover, this is all the pressure is on him. This is, I'm sure, the most nervous he's ever been for a fight. It's the biggest fight of his career, the biggest fight of his life, and a career-defining moment that gets him here or he goes back here. It's a big one for Glover. So, I saw some stuff where people were writing all the pressures on Rampage because of this last fight and shit. Rampage has got a bunch of money. Rampage is going to go and do whatever he thinks is going to make him happy. But Glover's the one this is a big fight for Glover.
When you look at him as a prospect and you are evaluating him as how good he can be, I mean, is he a talented, it has the kind of talent, not that he'd be John Jones, but it has the talent to be a champion someday?
I do. I think the unfortunate part for him is it's been so long for him to get here. He should have been here a few years ago, but he had those visa issues, and finally got him taken care of. Now's his time. He's got to make the most of it.
Pedro Nobre from the Brazil card.
Yep.
The no contest. Is he going
What
to
do
get
you
another
guys think?
fight? Well,
I don't know. What do you guys
we
think?
saw
You
what
guys
you
think
think.
that I should bring a guy back in that has this opportunity and is in this fight and then fakes and does? I don't give a shit what anybody says. The guy was faking.
So your stance is faking.
tell you what,
won't
you-
get another one?
Me and every one of you standing here right now, and everybody who will watch these interviews or hear them, saw Shogun versus Dan Henderson. One of the most vicious, grueling, back and forth fights you've ever seen. Neither one of them walked out of the octagon acting like that. And you saw the shit that they went through. The ref made a horrible mistake that night, and that kid played it right up to the end.
So he won't get another one with you guys? No rematch?
Ask Joe Silva. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, no.
I talked to Eddie Alvarez on Tuesday, and as you probably know, he's going into court on Friday tomorrow, and he's hopeful, that something can come out. But he's hoping that if the judge rules in his favor, that he would like to fight in April. Is there a chance he could be on the other side of Newark?
I hope it works out for him too. I mean, listen, everybody knows this isn't a kid who's their world champion. This kid doesn't have their title. His contract's up. We'll see what happens. If he says it the best, either him or his lawyer basically said, yes, these guys tried to match it, but let's say you put it this way in these terms: if the UFC and Bellator both want to take me to dinner, the UFC's taking me to Morton's, and Bellator's taking me to McDonald's. Then no two dinners are created equal. No two pay-per-views are created equal. No two, these two fight companies aren't created equal. But on the flip side, don't forget this either. We're not talking about Bellator. Everybody talks about Bellator like they're some poor little promotion, and then Viacom owns fucking Bellator. Viacom owns Bellator. Viacom runs that shit. Bellator, like you used to know it, is over. Viacom sits on $5 billion in cash. $5 billion in cash. Pay the kid. Pay the kid the exact monetary offer we gave him. And you deserve the right to have it. You know what I mean? We're not talking about some poor little promotion. Oh, poor little Bellator and the big bad UFC. Viacom. We're not sitting on $5 billion in cash. They are. They can pay the kid. Pay him.
What are your thoughts on who he would fight if he was able to get through this court thing successfully and get on the card?
We'll see. He's not even here yet, and you guys are asking me those questions.
What you didn't answer his question when he asked you about Cerrone and Pettis. I mean, that's a little different situation.
Yeah, because I hate answering those questions before the fight. This isn't boxing where, let's say Cerrone and Pettis. This is boxing. We're boxing now. Cerrone and Pettis are fighting tonight, and the winner's going to get the next shot at the title. So what happens in boxing is the fight happens, and just saying, let's say Pettis wins, and he breaks his hand in the fight.
Right.
That fight will not happen until Pettis is healed, ready to go, and then he'll fight Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Whereas in this thing, we got a guy still has to defend his title. He still has to work and stay busy. We have other contenders that are there that can fight. It's a completely different
Assuming
model.
everybody's healthy.
Assuming everybody's healthy, we'll see what happens.
Well, what do you think? When you look at Pettis' decision that he made, he was promised a title fight after the Showtime kick, and he hasn't gotten it. He made a choice to fight, and it backfired on him. Do you feel bad for the kid himself?
He lost.
Right.
He got hurt. He's had some things, and believe me, we've been in these situations. Carlos Condit.
Right.
Look how long Carlos Condit was before he got the title shot. We've had tons of these situations. Look at how long Dominic Cruz has been out of work, man. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate, but these things happen. He will get his shot. Look how long it took Chuck Liddell to get a shot.
Financially, that has a big impact on guys, doesn't it?
Huge. Night and day.
So, Sergio lost a shitload of money by the decision he made to fight Guida as opposed to waiting for the
Sergio.
title. Not Sergio, Anthony.
Yeah,
Anthony.
But it's one of those decisions that nothing is ever perfect. If you look at the decisions Rashad Evans made,
right,
to sit out and wait, and how long it took. Carlos Condit wanted to sit. When you make those decisions, shit doesn't go your way either. Right. The other guy gets hurt, then this thing happens, then you get hurt, and then you're out. It's just, there's no perfect answer or no perfect solution. If a guy's going to be out for a while, yeah, you need to fight. Look at Barao. Barao was going to sit out and wait, You have to make money. You have to keep working. And more important than, I don't know if it's more important than making money, but you have to stay active. As a fighter, you have to stay active. Timing, ring rust, all that bullshit.
Last question about that thing. You bring up, you've had a couple interim champions recently, and in each case, Carlos won the interim title and he waits. Then, Barao won the interim title. He was going to wait until,
Right.
Dominic got hurt again. What's the point of an interim title if the guy, I thought the point of an interim title was so the challengers didn't have to wait around for a bite.
That is true.
Why were they allowed to then?
It just depends on the situation. There's different situations of how long a guy is going to be out. All the bullshit that Carlos Condit went through, he wanted to make sure he was going to get that
Right.
fight. There's different circumstances. And then, like the Barao thing, we said, you're not waiting anymore, you fight.
All those promotion that Fox did, they never mentioned flyweight. It was just a fight. Was that a network decision?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it was specifically designed not to talk about the flyweights. I think that's just the way they put the commercial together.
And how much of a concern is there for you guys, kind of marketing the little guys and be a big fight like this?
I'm not concerned about it at all. You'll never hear me. It's just like me putting Ronda Rousey, who's the champion, on the main card. Henderson and Machida are not champions. She is. To say you don't like a fight because the guy's weak, that's crazy.
I think fans obviously know how good those guys are. Around Fox, it's kind of you have to appeal to a more broad audience.
Yeah. Guys look bigger on TV anyway, so maybe people won't notice that the ref is 4 feet taller than they are.
Speaking of guys waiting and staying active, with what happened with Bisping, what goes on now in kind of the Anderson Silva sweepstakes?
Say that again?
With what went on with Bisping, what happens now for Anderson?
I don't know.
Talk about guys waiting.
We're working that out. Yeah, we're figuring that out. We were actually on the phone while we were emailing me, Joe, and Lorenzo last night. Working on
as far as you know, does he want to fight relatively soon, like this spring? I thought I'd heard him say that he'd like to fight.
He wants to fight this
soon.
spring. Yeah. We'll have a fight for him this spring.
How long would it take Michael Bisping to get back into contention now that he's come up short several times and had competitive fights?
Yeah. The thing is you gotta win those fights. You can win 100 fights in a row. You gotta win the fight that's gonna get you the title.
But is it going to take him 100 fights to get back to the number one contender?
It's gonna be a minute. Yeah. There's some talented guys in there now. Vitor, weird. He called out Jones, but at 185 you got Vitor. You got Lombard just looked awesome in his last fight. When Weidman's back, when Mark Munoz is back. There's still a lot of tough guys there.
What about Vitor right now?
So is that going to come up after John and Chael fight?
I doubt it. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Before the Vitor fight, you said that he wasn't going to get the title shot. How close is he now? as far as how many more
How close is Vitor?
Yeah, so middleweight.
Like I said, if Vitor beats Bisping, he knocks off a couple more contenders at 85. It's hard not to give him the title shot again. We talking
Because I know-
talking about Vitor and
That's a year away.
God, who were we just talking about? Vitor and shit, I don't remember. We have a fight for him though. We have a fight for him.
You can't remember?
I think it is Rockhold.
Go wait.
Oh, is that you? Yeah. Might be Rockhold, yeah.
Rockhold?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that's it. That's what we're talking about.
Musasi Gustafsson.
There you go. So I gave you your fight that isn't done yet that we're talking about, because every time I do, and you guys go out and tell everybody, it fucks the whole deal up. But there you go. You got your one fight that I didn't want to tell you that I did.
Musasi Gustafsson and Hendo Machida, does that kind of become like a semifinals kind of thing?
Yeah.
Unofficial tournament
Yeah, no
for
doubt
the
about
next
it.
guy?
Well, obviously, if Henderson beats Machida, Henderson will get the next shot.
Machida wins, then take a look at what happens in the other fight. And
Yep.